Okay, we all know that the entrances in WWE 2K20 were subpar. That's what we'll use. We'll use the word subpar. So when it comes to 2K22, I think we got to make sure that we really nail these entrances. We really nail these themes and these character models. Today on the show, I want to talk about the top superstars that we want to have redesigned, remodeled, and updated for 2K22. That episode for everybody is right now. I started spending more and more time playing 2K19 and specifically going through the mods that the mod community does, because oh my god, they do impeccable work. Like, I love just watching the videos online of just the updated versions of superstars because they just do an incredible job of capturing that and keeping it fresh and up to date. And that's what I hope we can do with 2K22, is that we don't get an out-of-date game. We know that with the game coming out in March of 2022, that we should expect to see the roster feel a little bit more refreshed, and we should see some of the entrances hopefully get that same love and attention and care, and that they don't feel out of date. It always kind of drives me nuts when they have an entrance and a star just recently changed their gimmick and changed things around, and I really hope that they can do a good job with this extension of getting things actually up to date properly. Let's start off with the first superstar that we want to see getting an update, and that man is you can't see him ever. John Cena. John Cena's entrance is pretty classic. It's pretty much hasn't changed in a lot of time, so it's not like WWE 2K has to do too much in order to get this thing updated, but we do need to see a little bit much more of an older John Cena, one that is aged a little bit more. He's always going to put on the next promo shirt that he's trying to sell to everybody, but once he actually gets into the ring, I want to see John actually have the different haircut. And again, I want to see him that he's maybe a little bit more slimmed down, because he's not as jacked as he used to be years ago, right? I want that to reflect in the game, where they've buzzed down his hair a little bit, he's slicked back, and he looks like a little bit more matured John Cena. By the way, everybody, please go to Squared Circle Gameplays. That is where I am grabbing all of these modded entrances. Squared Circle Gameplays does incredible work. The link will be in the description below. Please go check it out, and please give it a like and give it a thumbs up and subscribe over there, because it's really, really awesome, all of the work that they do capturing all of this. Next up is a big one that I think has needed a refresh for several years, and hopefully we will finally get it. Could be a little bit tricky because this superstar has changed quite some time. The entrances, the music, the themes, all of this stuff until now, and I'm talking about Alexa Bliss. Bliss has gone through some changes over the course of the last 5 years in her character, which is great. And we've seen her work with The Fiend, we've seen her go and team up with Nikki Ash, and we've seen her kind of now on her own as this new incarnation of basically creepo Harley Quinn Fiend girl. Everything from her Tron to her entrance music, and especially the actual character model itself, really needs a refresh and an update. There are elements of her old entrance in there and like what she actually does in performance in the ring, but it really, to me, needs an entire overhaul. We want to be able to get that creepy, dark feeling of Alexa Bliss when she's coming to the ring. We need that updated entrance music especially. The Tron shouldn't be too hard to get in the game either, but Alexa Bliss is a character that I think needs a complete redesign and overhaul in 2K22. From the actual entrance to the post-match and seeing that she's actually skipping around the ring, we need all of those animations updated, because I'm going to be kind of disappointed if we're getting Bliss, she's a top star on Raw, and we're not having the latest version of her in the game. Now, speaking of somebody that is most recently changed up their gimmick a little bit, in the last year, 2 years, the WWE champion himself, Bob Lashley. Bobby Lashley has a great entrance right now. He has kind of evolved it since he's come back, then the days with the Hurt Business, and then since he broke off with the Hurt Business, now getting his WWE champion entrance. I really love it. I love all the gold and the kind of spectacle to it, that they really focus in on the entrance, Tron itself when he actually comes out, the pyro. All of it for Bob Lashley, including his character model, including his trunks, his attire. I think all of that needs a full overhaul. We need to see Bob Lashley as WWE champion, assuming he's going to be, because right now, at the time of this recording, we might be getting a cash-in, we might be getting Randy Orton as champion, I don't know, but I really hope that 2K can capture the latest version of Bob Lashley. Not too much has changed over time from his entrances. He's still going over to the ropes. He is still doing his pose, but you want all of that awesome pyro hitting as he makes his entrance. And along with that, we need to make sure that we're getting MVP in the game, number one, and two, we're getting manager version of MVP in this game to go alongside Bob Lashley. I want that as soon as we get into like kind of the team up screen, and then I can see the two of them are paired up together. Now, next up is somebody that's been off TV, has just come back after about a year's hiatus. WWE SmackDown Women's Champion, the man, Becky Lynch. We had Becky's The Man entrance in 2K20, but we also had the facial animations of Becky in 2K20, and that was something, wasn't it? So in this game, I want them to really take their time and make sure that they are getting all of the aesthetics down when it comes to Becky, along with a lot of the women in the women's division. And one of the biggest things that they struggle with to get right in any year is actually going to be the hair physics. What I notice is that the hair physics are they're just trash most of the time. They don't make sense. They don't work right. They're kind of like bouncing off the top of their shoulders, or they're just disappearing. They're glowing elsewhere, or they're glitching into stuff. It's a hot mess. They need to be able to nail this hair physics down a little bit better, try to make it optimized. And somebody like Becky Lynch needs all that time, care, and attention as being such a huge cornerstone of the women's division. We need her to be shown off. Little things like her new entrances. If she is going to start gimmicking it up with the sunglasses and the giant fur coat like we saw in SmackDown, if that's going to be a regular thing, that should be pretty easy to add into her entrance. She's keeping the same theme music and everything. She's just going more on the heel side of things. But Becky Lynch needs to get a lot of attention on that character model, mostly because people made fun of how bad it looked in 2K20. Becky Lynch needs to get an overhaul and needs to get a makeover. Then we got two more that we're going to be showing off here, so stick with me. But as we go through, if you guys can, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, consider hitting that thumbs up and giving it a like because it helps the YouTube algorithm, helps us grow. We're on the way to 5,000 subscribers. You guys are awesome for supporting the show. If you want to see more shows like this that we're doing here, with kind of what we want to see from 2K22, hit me up in the comments. Love to have a conversation. Now, the next one that we have on this list is going to be none other than The Rock, the Brahma Bull, Mr. Hollywood himself. I need to see an updated version of The Rock. This goes back very much like Becky Lynch, where I was really just not impressed with how his face animation looks in really from the last couple of years. I don't think that they do enough. I feel like it's always kind of washed out and flat. The Rock should be pretty easy to pull off because he's bald. There's not a lot of hair physics there. He's got the tattoos, he's bald, he's jacked up. The only thing with The Rock is with his characters that over the years, he himself also jacked, larger than life superstar. He's a scary man. He's like Brock Lesnar. He's just scary big. But they need to be able to update Rock's tattoos. They need to resculpt that facial animation. They need to make it better. Like I said, it's been too washed out, too flat, not enough animation actually going on, an expression on his face. The Rock's attire hasn't even changed. The music hasn't changed. His Tron hasn't changed. It's really coming down to making sure that you have the actual physics of him bulked up a little bit more, make sure those tattoos are all updated, and that you are actually nailing the facial animations of The Rock as best you can. But make him look a little bit more like a veteran, make him look a little bit more like he's got some age on him and that he is as big and larger than life that he actually is. Now, the last superstar that we want to see, yes, I did leave this gentleman for last. How could I not? But it's going to be the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Yes, we need Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, current Roman Reigns, and I want to make sure that they are doing everything they can to give us that Tribal Chief version, the latest version when this game releases. So much of Roman Reigns' whole package, it all starts with his entrance. From the delay of him coming out to the ring, to the 3D animation they use on TV, the long extended music, Paul Heyman updated. We need an updated Paul Heyman to be joining him. The Usos joining him as the Bloodline all together. We need updated Usos to go along with that. The way Reigns throws the title over his shoulder, the pyro that goes off with him, and really his whole entire look is updated from the beard, the shaved down hair into the sides. They need to be able to pay a lot of attention to Roman and his updated tattoos as well. We've had a small glimpse of Roman's character model in 2K22. I don't know if they're going to be able to nail that all the way, especially with his facial animations. Like I saw with Drew McIntyre, that has me worried that they're not going to be able to nail that as well as I want. But I'd be hopeful that for probably the biggest star they have across WWE right now, they put a lot of effort into Roman Reigns' packaging and his entrance and making sure that they absolutely nail that all the way down beginning to end. And as a bonus, everybody, one thing that I do want to see them do, and this ties into a lot of the stars we talked about today, but one of the big fixes and updates that I would like to see is when I think of someone like Roman Reigns holding the Universal Championship, I want the title updated. I want there to be better physics with those titles and those championships, make them feel and look heavier, make them look authentic, a little more shine, the light effects bouncing off of the title, and less of the problems that they've had in the past where like you put a coat on somebody and they got a title belt and it's glitching through it. Those fixes need to go away. They take you out of the experience and it looks a little bit broken and clunky. What superstars do you want to see getting updated in 2K22? What are your hopes and dreams? Give me your top 5 list if you guys have it. Write it down in the comments and I'll be sure to check it out and respond. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, thank you all for assembling with us. See ya.